Hey everybody, this is Danelle. Hope all is doing well and that you guys are enjoying the holiday season as we get ready for 2023 in the next few days. Hope you all are staying safe and healthy out there. Today we are going to talk a little bit about the public companies that own large amounts of Bitcoin, a little bit of the news of what's been happening over the past week. And of course, we're going to start with the crypto markets. We see here Bitcoin still in that $16,000 range. It dipped a little bit over the past week, as you can see, 0.22%, but it's now up a little bit over the last 24 hours, a negligible amount of 0.09%. Same thing with Ethereum. It's up at 0.67% over the past 24 hours, and it's still hovering around that $1,200 range. So it seems like Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of hovering in that 16,000 to $1,200 range over the last several weeks or so, and it's still kind of holding steady. So we'll see if we continue to kind of bounce around in this range. Many people are predicting that we could be going down in the first quarter or second quarter of 2023. And just generally speaking, in equity markets as well as cryptocurrency markets, there's a possibility that we still could have another leg or two down in the market. So it's something definitely to look out for and to consider as you make investment decisions moving into 2023. Really quick, we'll look at the NFT market. We did about $22 million in sales volume over the last 24 hours, so that's still staying in about the same range, in the $20 million range that we've been seeing over the last several weeks. It's still very low compared to the highs. We're about 90+% down in NFT sales volume off the all-time highs. And we can see the same general landscape, other deeds still doing fairly well as well. Azuki, which is an anime looking type project, is doing quite well, still staying in the top 10. And Pudgy Penguins has been in the news, particularly over the last few weeks. It's done a meteoric rise, really, over the last few weeks, considering that the floor price was around 1 to 1.5 several months ago, and now we're upwards of 7 plus Ethereum for the floor price. So it's done quite well. It's one of the legacy projects that have been around for a little while, and they changed ownership, and since then they've steadily started to grow back to higher prices, and now the NFT market is really excited about what's going on with Pudgy Penguins. And Pudgy Penguins also has a partner collection called Little Pudgies that is also doing quite well as well. And the other big news in the NFT market is that DeGods and Utes, which were the top Solana projects, are going to be moving to the Polygon Matic blockchain. So that was really big news. So we'll be interested to see, now that Solana has been going down in price, especially considering what happened with the FTX debacle and their affiliation with FTX. We can see that Solana has now dropped to the 18th slot and has now gone sub $10 at $9.40. So now that Utes and DeGods are now moving to another blockchain, everything happening with FTX, it'll be interesting to see what 2023 brings for Solana. But it looks like the developers and ownership team there at Solana Labs are still very positive and still building on top of that blockchain. So we'll see what happens there. So we're going to go into one of the biggest news stories over the past few days. Tesla dropped over 70% year to date. It is now doing a nice little comeback over the past day and 24 hours or so. As you can see here, year to date, it's now at 69% down. It was over 70% over the last couple of days. And in the last 5 days, it had gone all the way down to around $108 per share. And it's now come back up a little bit over the last 24 hours, today at 7.66%. So as you can see, Tesla stock is headed for its worst month, quarter, and year on record, and it currently has dropped out of the top 10 of U.S. public companies. If you believe in technology and what Tesla is doing in the electronic vehicle market, as well as what it's trying to do with solar, It looks like Tesla still has a lot of runway and a lot of opportunity moving forward. But as you can see, the market cap, it used to be a $1 trillion company. It is now sub 400 billion. So Tesla has been known to be a bit volatile, but we will be following to see where Tesla is moving forward. And as we move forward here, you can see that Tesla is actually a company that owns Bitcoin. So Tesla is also a company that is forward looking, especially when it comes to currency and cryptocurrency. And there was a small period of time that they actually accepted Bitcoin for purchases of Tesla vehicles. They're no longer accepting that now, but people are speculating that in the future they will be accepting cryptocurrencies, potentially Dogecoin, given Elon's connection to Dogecoin and his tweets that he's made and statements that he's made about Dogecoin, and also potentially Bitcoin as well. So we shall see. They had a $1.5 billion investment in Bitcoin in December 2020. They have since sold a small portion of it, but they still hold the majority of that Bitcoin investment. And we see here, this is an article from August 2022. So it's a little outdated because, as we can see at the top here, MicroStrategy, which is an enterprise analytics software firm. Many people may have heard of Michael Saylor, who was the CEO, but he is the founder of MicroStrategy. He stepped down as the CEO, but he's still a very prominent voice in the Bitcoin space. He advocates for Bitcoin, and you can see him and many of his interviews on YouTube and elsewhere in various podcasts, because he believes that Bitcoin will be the global reserve currency, and his company has invested billions of dollars, now up to $4 billion in Bitcoin. They are now at approximately 135,000 Bitcoin, 132,000 Bitcoin. 132,500 is around the exact number, and their total investment is about 4 billion. It was in the news that they had sold due to tax loss harvesting, but they then bought back and bought more. So tax loss harvesting basically is a strategy that a lot of investors use towards the end of the year. That's partially why we're starting to see the dips in equities as well these last few days in the market of 2022, because people, if they have losses on the books, they can use that to offset their gains for 2022 for tax purposes. So that's exactly what MicroStrategy did. And then they bought back in and bought more Bitcoin, because their average cost is approximately, I believe, $30,000. So as you can see here, the largest publicly traded company, the largest corporate Bitcoin holder, has added approximately 2,500 Bitcoin to its reserves since November 1. The tally of the sale of BTC on December 22nd for potential tax benefits, the first sale since it has started accumulating in 2020. So this was the first time selling, but as I mentioned, it was most likely for tax purposes. So MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor are still very full steam ahead when it comes to investing in Bitcoin, believing in the future of Bitcoin, and they are the largest Bitcoin holder as a publicly traded company. Other companies that hold Bitcoin is Galaxy Digital and Voyager Digital, which is now currently going through bankruptcy. And there's news that Binance, which is the largest cryptocurrency exchange now in the world and has been actually for a while now, I believe it's their US division, Binance.us, is buying Voyager Digital assets, for $1 billion. We talked about Tesla. Marathon Digital Holdings is a Bitcoin mining company. Block, which used to be known as Square, was one of the first public companies to buy into cryptocurrency. As you can see, in October of 2020, they had about $50 million in cryptocurrency, or that they bought of Bitcoin. And they have also been the stock, Square stock, now called Block, has been very volatile as well, and usually kind of moves with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is skyrocketing, Square is usually skyrocketing, and vice versa. I should say, at least when Bitcoin's going down, Block is also going down. Hut 8 mining company, Riot Blockchain, as you can see, Coinbase Global also has Bitcoin. So there are a number of public companies that are holding Bitcoin. People believe that there will be more public companies that will be added to this list over the next several years as cryptocurrency and Bitcoin continue to stay stable and hopefully continue to rise in value as more people start to understand blockchain technology and the advantages of using that technology system. So lastly, before we go, we are still finding out more details from the FTX debacle. The founder of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, who we now know has been arrested, extradited to the US, and then released on bail and now staying on house arrest at his parents' home in Palo Alto, California. It's come out that he borrowed from Alameda, which is the trading desk that allegedly had funds commingled with FTX customer funds. He borrowed money from Alameda to buy Robinhood shares. He bought a ton of Robinhood shares. I believe it was nearly a 7% stake in the entire company earlier this year, and it's come out that he borrowed from Alameda. So we're learning that there's so many intricacies regarding the connection between Sam Bankman-Fried, the executives at Alameda, and FTX, and how a lot of those funds were all kind of swirling around and commingled together. So allegedly, we're finding that there could be potential fraud or, if anything, negligence and wrongdoing with regards to the way that they were handling customer funds. So obviously, as time passes, we'll learn more with court documents as they come out and as they move forward with the case against Sam Bankman-Fried. We will have more as this story develops. It's going to be ongoing for a while, but we do appreciate you listening to us here at Networkchain. We appreciate you in 2022. We're looking forward to bringing more information, bringing more education, providing more utility for you, and we look forward to 2023. Like we said earlier, we hope that you're healthy and doing well, and we look forward to seeing you in 2023. In the meantime, take care. We'll be linking up with you soon here on the Network Chain. Bye-bye.